Bat music.
He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Greetings, citizens of Gotham, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Returns, the show that's here to fill all of your voids 3 days a week. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And I am the other host, Niall McGowan.
Are you filling voids?
Oh, well, I don't want to get too pervy, John.
Yeah, that's to come.
Yeah, the conversation's going to
happen.
turn bad enough.
Yeah, and we are joined today by a very special guest. We have Rory Spence of the Doghair Network.
Hello.
Yo.
I just tried to think of a joke about filling voids there, but I thought best not.
Yeah, this minute in particular, I mean, there's quite a few throughout the movie, but this one, you can see why people had a problem with the film, like especially advertisers and people like that.
Well, it's like even arguably just this whole scene. Everything about it is just like, it's so just like a movie for adults has just landed in a Batman movie, not just in terms of like lurid language, but in fact later on he's talking about like cultural events that kids won't have any idea what he's talking about.
No,
and then he's literally just just after biting a guy's nose like nearly clean off.
Yeah,
and he's got blood all over him.
The minute in question is minute 53, and the minute starts with the aftermath of some gnarly WWE-esque blade work, and it ends with Oswald, the sexual icon. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Let's combine those two things into one. All right, so we are back at the campaign office as blood is mopped up from the, what do we call it, the incident of last minute.
That's what the spin doctors are referring to. It's the unfortunate incidents, yes.
The troubles, we'll call them in honor of you.
Well, I'm sure that won't be controversial at all.
It's all in good taste.
But yeah, we do get a whole big kind of spate of just, Max Shrek trying to take control of things here. But I do love this whole bit of dialogue between these two guys, because it is Shrek kind of his well covered but growing exasperation at a guy who is like completely off base and doing his own thing. And the fact that, he starts this whole business of like, we missed the regularly scheduled election, but the politicians can be impeached, given the boot, and think of Nixon, all this business. And what I think is quite strange about that is that at the very split-second start of this minute, we see Shrek giving the infamous Nixon peace sign, like he's flashing the fingers. Yeah. And then it's like, why are you evoking Nixon, a disgraced politician, twice when you're trying to create a successful? It's very, very strange.
Well, I think that's a hint, really. Like, Nixon was not to get too political, a shady figure. And the Penguin is a shady figure.
Yeah, because he literally does say, like, think of Nixon and then think of you, Oswald Cobblepot. Like, yep. Well, now I'm thinking of both of them at the same time. Yes.
I love as well when they sort of shuffle off together to the water cooler there. You can really soak in the look of the Penguin. Like, I've said it a few times, but this shot especially, he looks exactly like a Tim Burton drawing. Like all those artworks he does, those characters he makes. His body is insane.
Yeah. Like, I think because the light it's broad daylight for once. In this movie, we actually get seeing things in the light of day, and you actually get a proper, real look at the Penguin hands. Like, palms and all. You get seeing every inch of them in this minute.
Yeah.
And, like, they are...
His hands really freak me out. Like, above all else, his hands freak me out.
They scare me. And even though we're going through this minute at a time, I constantly forget that when they're black, he's wearing gloves. I've brought this up a few times as well. So when you see them without the gloves on, it's somehow even weirder than when they're shiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because he emphasises them in this minute as well with his French flipper trick, and it's really creepy.
It's a disturbing line. We're going to get to that. Oh, jeez. I have a question when we get there as well for everyone, which we have asked in the listeners' cave, but not everyone who listens is in the group. So, believe it or not, I don't know why.
It should be like Ruthless, like the Godfather Minute guys, so because they have the Patreon extras, and every episode they just talk about like, oh, it's going great over the Patreon. Oh, the content we have over there. Oh, I think it's way better than the actual show and stuff. They swayed me. I went over. I got suckered in. I went over and started paying for the Patreon. So,
well, the Penguin here as well. He's still acting kind of weird. He's furious, but then Max kind of calms him down in a weird way. He's explaining to him that his plan is to get the current mayor recalled, as you said, Niall, and kind of pushing up the election because they've just had an election.
Yeah.
So he's gonna get rid of the mayor, push it up, and put Oswald in his place, basically. But it's funny seeing the Penguin kind of not really reacting to this information. He's barely paying attention to it.
Oh, he's gone from furious into this full-on horn dog mood where he's just he's checking out Jen. But yeah, I love even like of all the line deliveries of Chris Walken. I do love just the way he says, like, think of you, Oswald Cobblepot, filling the void. It's like, no one can deliver a line like that except Chris Walken.
He's great in this because he's this is the peak of his manipulativeness in the film, I think.
Yes.
This is when he's in here doing this, and then everyone else is scared of him at this moment, and he's there looking him straight in the eye and talking to him calmly.
Yeah, it's quite fearless, really, considering what he's just witnessed.
Yeah. I should actually mention, I think I alluded to it in earlier episodes, but I can bring it up now. So we've talked briefly about how Max Schreck is essentially based on Rupert Thorne from the comics and very distinctive storylines from the comics. And the Rupert Thorne's first appearance, he's trying to make a power plant. That's what Max Schreck is doing. The second storyline Rupert Thorne featured in, he thought he had killed someone. It turned out they weren't dead, and they'd come back to seek vengeance on him, much like Max Schreck and Selena Kyle. And then in Rupert Thorne's third major storyline, The Ghost of Wayne Mansion sees him trying to gain political power by backing a corrupt candidate in the mayoral election. And in that storyline, he elects a stooge, Hamilton Hill, as mayor of Gotham City, just so he can turn him into a proxy and just do whatever he wants. And throughout that entire storyline, Hamilton Hill actually successfully becomes the mayor, unlike Oswald Cobblepot. And at one point, they start a whole campaign to frame Batman for a crime as well. It's like, this is all looking very, very similar. And again, it just makes me mourn for the character of Rupert Thorne, who was so influential on like Carl Grissom and Max Schreck, yet he's like the forgotten Batman villain now, because it's all like, Falcone, Maroni, all the cool straight gangsters. Whereas Rupert Thorne, big deal at one point, completely forgotten now. Probably will never appear in a movie because he's just sort of in the back burner in people's minds.
You think they'd at least hint to him, like call a character that name, or you'd overhear it in conversation between the other gangsters, and you'd put in like a little Easter egg, surely.
Yeah. But no, tragically he
didn't have a gimmick. That's his problem.
Yeah.
He didn't have a big. He didn't wear purple and green. That was another issue he had.
But to be honest,
if you want to be a Batman villain, it's purple and green.
Anyone wearing purple and green, I'm on board with.
Yeah. Because then now they got like the particularly the news this week as well, this week of recording, because like now you do have a gangster in Gotham who has a gimmick. You have Black Mask, and now he's getting bumped up into main villain status in Birds of Prey, and played by Ewan McGregor, which I'm just like, I mean, Ewan McGregor's a great actor, but it's like, Black Mask is supposed
I can do it. I have 100% faith in my boy Ian.
Hey.
It's just a national pride kind of thing. I was like, no, of course he can do it.
He's done some dark roles. I can't remember the name of the film where he plays a gangster in it, and he's really good.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor. I can see him pulling that off for sure.
Yeah, I was always pictured Black Mask as more of a sort of like a Joe Pesci in Goodfellas. Like he's that level of intense and stuff. And Ewan McGregor, I guess he'll have the mask on the whole time, so he doesn't really need to look.
He can do intensity. Son of a Gun is the film I was thinking of. If you watch that, he's very good in that. He's quite intense and scary.
Oh, we'll have to remember to post a trailer in the group.
Yeah. I'll just have to have a look at it to see, because I might watch that and be like, oh no, that guy is perfect casting. Whereas at the minute it's just
it's not a great movie, but he is good in it.
At the minute though, it just seems very much like, oh, him and Mary Elizabeth Winstead got together. She was casting Birds of Prey. Now he's casting Birds of Prey. Is it like, did she get him the job or something? Like, what happened there?
Are they still an item?
They broke up because his marriage fell apart because he was having an affair. Well, I think there's rumors saying that the marriage might have already ended, and then they got together. But apparently they broke up for a bit because Mary Elizabeth Winstead was like, I don't want to be known as like a housebreaker and whatnot, or homewrecker and stuff. And then I guess maybe Ewan just pitched like, well, damage is done, so you might as well be happy together if we're, instead of
might as well give it a shot at that point.
Yeah. Plus, I don't blame him for pursuing her, because Mary Elizabeth Winstead is just stunning, like distractingly so. Like every movie she's in, I'm just like, she's a great actress, but like, oh man, it's
It's the double whammy for you, isn't it?
yeah, totally. And then you put her in like all the multicolored hair and Scott Pilgrim. It's just like, what are you just literally making a dream woman for me over here? And now you're giving her to Ewan McGregor.
I bet you never saw that coming.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not the most wildly attractive guy, but neither's Ewan McGregor. So if he can do it,
He's a handsome chap. He's fine.
Yeah.
But speaking of being distracted, the Penguin, of course, you said that Max comes out with that line, imagine filling the void. Penguin, he then looks over at the woman over there and comes out with one of the greatest lines in cinema history. I'd like to fill her void.
Again, too.
Oh,
when I was a
God.
kid, didn't quite. I was just like, yeah, he's just saying stuff. It wasn't until years later I was like, what? You can't say that in this movie.
It's insane that they got away with that, really. Like, even more than like the creepy stuff, the violent stuff. I thought that would be the one thing they'd go no.
It's pretty bad. There's a line in the next minute which we won't get into that I'm sure you will cover in great detail. That is even worse, but this is pretty bad.
At the same time, I love it though. It makes the character for me that he comes out with these vile things.
Yeah,
but I do think as well that this may have been like a bit of improv as well, because if you actually look at the finished script, like the Wesley Strick revised draft and everything, the line they have in that is, well, me and that Jen chick, maybe we could take a tumble. And I wouldn't be surprised if on set, like, DeVito was like, there's a joke right here, like filling the void. You're not gonna go. How have you not thought of this joke, guys? Come on.
Oh, that is perfect. Because take a tumble like that, you could see them approving, like Warner Brothers going, yeah, that's fine. It's not too explicit. But this, I think you're right. He just did it on set, and Burton was like, yep.
Yeah, totally. And I have to say though as well, I don't know if it's kind of accentuated a bit needlessly as well, in that when they look over, Jen she sat in such a way that it does seem to be sort of accentuating her rear end quite excessively. To me, it looks as if she's been deliberately framed in that way to.
Oh yeah.
To over do again. He's still sleazing, and now she sat in that way. Of course, he's still sleazing on her because he's a complete pervert, and he's sort of taking advantage of the view, I think. But
like every good politician. But I like how quietly he comes out with the line as well, because it could slip by you if you're still kind of shocked from the biting that just happened. You could still be like, oh my God, and you wouldn't even notice what he said.
Maybe that's how they got it. They slipped it in. It was because the censors, Warner Brothers, were just like, oh, they're busy talking about this nose business. Did not notice the fill in the void joke that I've just slipped in underneath.
You probably shouldn't say slipped it in.
As you said, I didn't register that as a child at all. It just slipped past me. But
yeah, I don't think I even questioned it myself. I don't think I even went, what does he mean?
Yeah. But I do love, though, again, this is the fact, though, that Shrek is so on this, I'm going to make this guy the mayor. And the Penguin is so distracted. Because he's just literally, Shrek's back on, kind of like, oh, the pitch, you should be doing this and that. And then, of course, the Penguin comes out with the other, because he's still just leering at Jen. So he's just doing like, oh, teach her my French flipper trick. And we see him writhing his hands. And it's, oh, God. But I'm assuming, John, the question you were going to ask is the one we did ask in the listeners page.
Yeah. You can ask it yourself because you asked it there.
Yeah. So what do people think the French flipper trick actually is?
I've been trying not to think about it, to be honest.
Yeah. And the way he words it, teach her my French flipper trick. Like, so he's done this before?
Yeah.
Whatever this act is, he's proficient at it.
That's you don't know who, but maybe the Penguin's a bit of like a Casanova within the Red Triangle gang. Like, oh, he's been with everybody. Like, but maybe some people find him very charming. You never know. Depends on your personality, I guess. You find out like he actually also had a job as like an accountant for years, and he just had like an office romance and stuff. And he's like, "No, I'm going back to the sewer. Screw this."
I was thinking you were hinting that there might have been something to do with penguins.
Oh my God! I didn't even think about that. Oh, that could be true. He lives with the penguins. What other females has he been around?
Yeah,
penguins.
Yeah. That's oh my God! It'd be terrible at the end. It turned out there was like a penguin Oswald Cobblepot hybrid baby or something. Oh my God! Ugh.
Well, maybe that's what happened in the first place. I heard you listening to your earlier episodes of this movie. You were conjecturing where he came from.
You think maybe.
Maybe he is half penguin.
Yeah. The door is wide open, really, for speculation. So I guess could be. This is good.
Pee-wee had an affair with a penguin.
Yeah,
and or the other way actually. Yeah, I've forgotten the name of the actress who's his mum. Bloody hell, I'm terrible. But maybe his mum had an affair with a male penguin.
Yeah,
that would explain the birth scene.
Maybe that.
Maybe.
Paul Rubens was so outraged. He's like, "We're throwing this baby out." Like, I can't. But
oh my God, I'm too disturbed to go on. I don't know what to say. Oh no.
But I googled French flipper trick to see if anything popped up, and in Urban Dictionary it says, I don't know how much I'm gonna have to censor because I'm saying words that are. This is all very lurid. I'll admit that. We'll probably have to put this up as like a not safe for work episode.
A bonus clip. Yeah.
But yeah, the Urban Dictionary says it is similar to the shocker, but with 3 in the vagina and 1 in the asshole. The fingers in the vagina are wiggled in a waving motion similar to a penguin flapping its flippers. Like,
well, that's what he does, so
yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, to be honest, that is kind of what I was picturing, but I didn't really want to.
Yeah. I was like, wonder what makes it. Maybe because it's a bit like a French kiss, I guess. But like, what makes it French? Is he slathering it in like garlic butter or something? And what's he doing?
Yeah, maybe we go back to Poodle Lady again. Maybe that's where it comes from.
Oh, yeah. She could very well be French, having a poodle and all.
Maybe oh no, he does say my French flipper trick, but maybe she was the one who taught him how to do it, and she's like,
yeah.
And now
or
maybe
the one he perfected it on.
Or maybe she can hear this from like upstairs, and then she's just like, "What the hell are you doing, taking credit for my trick, Oswald?" But you never know. It could be something more wholesome too. Maybe his French flipper trick is like he takes a woman in, they go out and he makes her a nice French meal. They have a nice romantic night, and then they have a consensual relationship, and then they get married and start flipping houses together. Like that's the that's his French flipper trick. This is like it's a long. It's more the French flipper long con, really.
It's like a 40-year con.
Yeah. And then I think when he's 60, he says like, "Well, moving on to the next one."
I suppose he might age differently. I mean, he is supposed to be in his early 30s.
Yeah. I keep forgetting that. He's like 30. He's supposed to be 33.
Yeah, he's 6 months older than me at present.
I'm just waiting, John, like seeing you like the day after you turn 33, there's this giant hump appears on your back and stuff.
That's what happens, right? That's aging. That's how I understand aging, thanks to this movie.
Shrek again, still hardcore pitching to make the saying to the penguin, we need to do something to sort of to kick off this mayoral campaign. And then he's handed Oswald a paper cup full of water as well. I do love the penguin's reaction of like a platform, and then he throws the water, just throws the cup away. And I have to say, that would have been the thing. If I was in that campaign office, that would be the straw that breaks the camel's back for me.
Throwing water.
Not the nose.
Because it's a bit like, well, that Josh guy had it coming. Like, he did just insult him to his face. And
he was a jerk, yeah.
Yeah, so he got his nose bit. It's justified. But this is just like, he's just throwing cups of water around. It's a willy-nilly. It could have hit anybody. It could have gone into one of the computers. It could have broke a valuable piece of equipment.
Yeah, a Macintosh, as we established.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The cup as well, though, Niall. Like, is this an American thing? Is this an early 90s thing? What is, like, this cup is tiny.
Yes.
Why is it so small? Like, we have a water cooler at work. The cups are about 3 times the size of this thing.
I've seen cups like that at water coolers.
Oh my god! What's the point?
Yeah, no, it's just if you want a little bit of water, I guess.
A shot.
Yeah,
I guess it's just.
I think the idea was to stop people hanging about water coolers. Those kind of cups. Just like,
okay.
You get your water and you go.
To be fair, when I get a cup of water, I hang around it solely so I have an excuse to not go back into the rest of the building.
Yeah.
It could also be that this is how Shrek stays rich. It's like, yeah, I'm not paying extra plastic for bigger cups. You get little tiny cups, and then like, yeah, well, you can make more cups from it. I'm cutting corners already. I'm saving. That's $1 million saved is $1 million earned.
Ah, yeah, wise words.
Yeah, I do wonder too who's going to pick up that fish that's just left.
I know. I've got it paused at a bit where they can see the fish just sitting there. It's also very disgusting. A half-eaten fish.
It was prime opportunity for a Twin Peaks reference, though. I wanted the fish to be in the cooler.
Oh.
You should have thrown it in somehow, like open top cooler or something.
But I do like the. I guess so, actually, because again, a raw fish that would stink out the office too. So like, not only is he biting people in the nose, not only is he throwing cups of water around willy nilly, he's also just left a stinking fish right next to a room full of working people, and eventually someone, even if you go and throw it away, it's gonna be like a half hour with all the doors and windows open till that's aired out properly. And even then, it's
to be fair, I don't think he's going to smell great either.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe he's currently masking that smell.
That's what I was going to ask then. Who or what smells worse? I think potentially the penguin.
I think it's going to be a very similar smell. I would imagine he smells like raw fish.
To be fair, yeah, when I go visit penguins at like a zoo or a water park or something, it's not. I mean, it's not horrific. There's worse smelling animals, but it's also not the best smell in there.
No.
I do wonder though that could be like a riddle. It's like, which is worse, the fish or the penguin that eats it? It's like,
all right, Edward Nigma.
Yeah, if Obi-Wan Kenobi himself was right here, he'd be like stroking his beard in the background, pondering this.
Ewan himself.
Yeah. But again, it's when the penguin flips this and he goes into this, stop global warming, start global cooling, turn the world into a giant icebox. We get seeing the palms in detail. Really good job, because it's actually got like it looks like the palm of people's hands. It doesn't look like synthetic smooth skin or blatant prosthetics. It looks like, that's actually a natural hand he's got there. Which is, I've always thought, even when I was a kid, I was like, that's really good. That's good makeup. Unless it's literally like, because I think it was an entire glove he had to wear. So it's not Yeah, so it's not just like he had like a little thing over the fingers. It was like a whole to do. So, yeah, it was good job, Stan Winston and his crew with that.
Well, it looks amazing, because it does, like, they're not uniform either. They look kind of different. They're gnarled and deformed, and it's kind of, I don't want to say disgusting, because that's a bit mean, but it's unusual.
I'm pretty sure you can be mean to the penguin, John.
Well,
not if you don't really want your nose intact.
Yeah. Plus, I've brought it up multiple times. Is it his fault he's evil?
I was actually thinking about this earlier. This is one of the more sort of Danny DeVito's more villainous characters. This one is a lot more justified, or like, and has more moments of where you can relate to him or sympathise with him than some of his other ones. Even Frank from It's Always Sunny is less redeemable than the Penguin, I would say.
That's on initial, like the first time you said that sounds crazy, right? But listeners, actually think about that. That's true. The Penguin is much more, I don't say relatable, but he, you can sympathise. Yeah, that's a good choice of words, because, I mean, his parents tried to murder him as a baby, basically. That's insane. That's crazy. How do you get over that?
I'll get over it. It's been 33 years already.
Move on.
I do think as well, though, that this, turning the world into a giant icebox, it may be an allusion to a character trait that's prevalent in the Penguin elsewhere, in that he's like really into sub-zero temperatures and stuff, and that he usually, a bit like Mr. Freeze, like he kind of requires the room to be intensely cold and stuff. Whereas I guess it kind of, it'd be pretty cold in that sewer, I guess, but like the rest of the Red Triangle gang seem to be okay. So I don't think they don't really put that as a thing. They're like, oh yeah, the Penguin's really, really into the cold. But I did note in the original Sam Hamm draft, one of the introduction between the Penguin and Catwoman, they do have a whole big thing about them requiring sub-zero temperatures to live and stuff. And it's just the way they describe this happening is like, I would have loved to see this visual because it's quite distinctive in that Mr. Frick, who is one of the Penguin's lackeys in that version of it, comes into the Oswald's, or Mr. Boniface, as he's called in that, into his penthouse. And at the center of this penthouse room is a vast sunken pool. Arctic terns loll on the surrounding rocks as a lackey with a wheelbarrow empties cracked ice into the already frigid water. And then a massive, indistinct shape glides beneath the surface. It's not a whale. It's too pink. It is instead the Penguin. And then apparently he bobs up, completely naked, apparently. And then they have to lower a crossbar, which he hangs onto, and then they have to hoist him out of this pool to go meet Selena Kyle. And then as she meets him, he's in a little thin dressing gown with the, again, this is the middle of winter, all the windows open, feeding the pigeons. Yeah. And she says, like, I'm surprised you don't catch pneumonia. And he says, my normal body temperature is 92 degrees. Germs find me quite inhospitable. And this is it was weird that Sam Hamm was like, yep, this is a major part of the Penguin. And then Dan Waters gets hold of it. It's like, nah, this is not.
No.
Why bother complicating things?
Well, you said that he wanted to freeze the city in the earlier drafts, but there is another idea they had as well in a different one, which I don't understand. There's a different draft where they wanted his plan to be to heat up the city, and I don't understand why. Like, the explanation makes no sense. Why would the Penguin heat the city up? That was going to be his grand scheme for a while, and then they went back to freezing the city, and then they came up with what they've got in the finished product.
It's almost like it's a friggin' like as a joke in a Marx Brothers routine or something. Like, oh, we're going to freeze the city. This day we're freezing the city. Friday we heat up the city. But on Saturday we back to freezing the city.
Yeah, doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it's bizarre. Then again, you do get some penguins in hot climates.
Yeah, but it's not the traditional.
Yeah,
no, it's not what you think of.
Yeah, most people would not go for that. It would be the thing of having to have a note at the start of the movie going, just so you know, so you don't complain, some penguins live in hot climates, and that's the kind of penguin he is, okay? Cast all images of Arctic tundras out of your mind. That's not this guy. I do love, though, how, like, into the mayoral thing the Penguin suddenly gets now within the split second. Because, again, Shrek kind of going into, like, it's like, oh, we need, something, a spark, of going into all this business. And then the Penguin, just in his little head, just thinking about all the grandeur of being mayor now. And I go, how do you do, Mayor Cobblepot? Your table is ready, Mayor Cobblepot. Like, not thinking about the work or helping the people. It's just like, oh, people will treat me like I'm a badass if I'm the mayor.
Yeah.
Isn't that what everyone wants to be mayor for?
Well, that's the thing, like, in the UK, maybe you can attest to this, Rory. I don't know if it's different up in Scotland, but, like, the mayor is very, very incidental as a political figure.
We don't actually have a mayor in Glasgow. We have a Lord Provost, who's like basically a civil servant, who's the head of that kind of thing. But yeah, it's not. I don't even know who it is. I don't know her name. I know it's a woman. I don't know her name.
Well, most places I've lived in the UK are the same. Like, nobody cares or knows. But here in Liverpool, I think it's slightly different here. People here do know the name of the mayor. He seems to be involved a lot more in how things run, which I find odd. Because you'll know, Niall. Good old Joe Anderson. who's had his fair of controversies. So I
that
won't
was
go into
because
that.
he played Mason Verger in season 3 of Hannibal. Joe Anderson, didn't he? That was,
of course, yes. That was a controversial move for the mayor.
Yeah, it's weird. He took that time off to just like, I'm going to be on a TV show because Michael Pitts left it.
But no, every other place I've lived, though, I agree. Nobody knows who the mayor is here or cares.
Yeah.
I don't think they even do anything, really. They just kind of turn up to events.
Is it the mayor of Birmingham who's like a total badass?
Oh, it's somewhere like that, isn't it? It's like Birmingham or Sheffield or something.
He's just like a really, really cool guy.
Yeah. He seems awesome. That guy. We'll post about him in the group.
I was like, what exactly has he done? So it's like, oh, he's like a ninja.
No, he just always wears like really cool clothes and stuff like that, and he turns up to things wearing like. I think one time, like when Trump was around, he wore a sombrero.
Yeah. No, this is him. It's unless there's two. This is the one I'm thinking of. It's the mayor of Sheffield. I think I don't know how you pronounce his name. I might get it wrong. I think it's Majid.
That's him. That's him. Yeah, that's the one.
So he's the mayor of Sheffield. He's he's Somalian, and he's a Green Party councillor. And the picture of him on Wikipedia. Now, for the listeners might not understand this since they're mostly American, it's a slang term here. He's got a T-shirt on saying Donald Trump is a waste man. Which is amazing, to be honest. Let me see. You have to edit out.
I've seen pictures of him wearing that T-shirt with a sombrero on as well.
Absolutely amazing.
He's usually wearing like a backwards cap.
I'm busy looking this up. You'll have to cut me out Googling here, Niall.
How old is this guy, though? Because now you're saying this backwards cap. I'm imagining friggin' Steve Buscemi in 30 Rock. Going, how do you do,
he's 29.
fellow constituents? Oh, he's 29.
Yeah. And he's dead cool, and he's against all right wing kind of things.
I wonder if this is what Adam Scott in Parks and Rec, because wasn't he like 18 or something when he was supposed to be the mayor?
Yeah.
Wasn't it some sort of Arctic themed town or something as well? They turned it into, he froze the ground or something and turned the whole. It's been years since I watched Parks and Rec, but I remember it was a whole.
Vaguely remember
something about like he was like the Snowtown mayor or something that I think he decided to freeze all the roads or something because he thought it'd be more efficient. And this is what he wanted to be, like this cool mayor. But still 18, still too young. You need to be that nice. The thing is, as soon as this guy turns 30, it's all over. I can verify that. As soon as you turn 30, you just die inside.
No, I'm keeping it going. But with Majid here, it says his aim has been to end the archaic nature of the role of mayor. And he reflected this in his inauguration ceremony, where the Imperial March from Star Wars and the Superman theme were played.
Oh,
good
choices.
During his speech at the ceremony, he condemned racism and post-Brexit xenophobia. In his inaugural portrait, Majid squatted on a balustrade wearing green Dr. Martens.
Yeah, that's I've seen that picture as well. It's fantastic.
I've never heard of this guy though. This is like he sounds amazing. How have I not come across him?
He's great. Look, a friend of mine lives in Sheffield, and he was telling me about him, and I was just like, oh my god, this guy is the greatest person in the world.
The thing is, though, you see him like before this episode airs, he'll be like making a speech, and all of a sudden someone will infiltrate his mic, and he'll just be like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of the Richard Pinhead puppets of Sheffield." He's like, "Oh, I didn't say that, kids."
It's all a scam. I like the way here at the end, though. Penguin finally, he's coming around to this idea. I think he's actually interested. It's piqued his interest. But what brought about this kind of change? Is it the idea that he can get women? Is it the power? Is it all of those things combined? Because line he comes out with seems to suggest it's women specifically, because he starts, he starts doing lines that he wants women to say to him. He's like, "I need you, Oswald. I need you now."
I do love the cut back to Shrek as well, because he's just like, he's been patient, but you can tell he's getting a little bit exasperated, like trying to move this along. And then because Penguin's going off on this little tangent, clearly not listening to what Shrek's saying anymore. And then when he goes into like, "Oh, I need you, Oswald," it cuts to Shrek just kind of looking at him like, "What is this? Like, what is he doing?" Like, what? He's not listening to me at all. And
It's
again,
like weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, and I think
That's going to be outdated when people listen to this.
You know, I'd never heard that until this morning, and I've heard it 5 times today.
Oh, that's the way that meme works. It's like I didn't hear about it, and then I saw 5 memes of it in a row.
Yeah, that in particular. Honestly, I was scrolling through social media this morning and saw it like 4 times.
And like most meme templates, it's like it's moderately funny, and that's about it. But it's just very widespread. You're just like, yeah, it's kind of funny, I guess.
Well, that's the whole point of a meme, though. It's like it's not really that funny, but the more you see it, the funnier it gets.
Oh no, like most memes, if it's a good meme, I will be roaring with laughter at it. So.
That's a rarity, though, Niall. That's the cream of the crop.
No, but of course, I'm still, as a meme maker myself, I don't know if I've ever cracked that. I think I came close a few times. But actually, I will say as well, though, the Penguin's enthusiasm, it actually reminds me of It's Always Sunny. Because one of the traits they always have in that show is like when someone pitches an idea, no matter how stupid it is, the gang all really get involved in it. They're always like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then they'll go full tilt, dedicated to a project. And this seems to be the Penguin's attitude now, is like that he's piqued his interest. And that's just like, this is all he can think about now. It's like, oh, I'm totally into this.
That's just where, like, I always say that Frank from It's Always Sunny is exactly like his character from Space Jam. And it's a bit like him as well. Swackhammer from Space Jam.
I can see that, yeah.
Well, anyway, I think we're pretty much at the end of the action of the minute here, really. Unless either you two guys, you have anything to talk about that's happening on screen that you want to bring up, or?
Well, yeah, just a little thing. If you've listened to DC Cinematic Minute and my guest appearances on that, you will know that I always end up talking about ties.
Yes.
So I just wanted to talk about what Max Schreck's wearing in this minute.
Oh, the king of style, yeah.
It's a bit odd, as it would be, but it's just he's wearing an evening shirt with like a business suit and like evening gloves, and I know earlier he was wearing an evening scarf with this.
Yeah.
And it's a patterned bow tie. It's an odd combination. He's wearing spats as well, which is also like none of this kind of works formality wise. It's all over the place, like with levels of formality.
Yeah. Like, what's he dressing for exactly?
Yeah. It's a very like it's an exaggerated sort of business suit, but it is a sort of business like suit.
The thing is, you say it doesn't work, but for me, it works too well. Like if I was a rich guy, I would be dressing like this all the time. Like,
I'd wear a top hat all the time as well.
Yeah.
Like, he needs a top hat.
If I was a rich guy, you know, ideally, I think maybe you'd want to be like, no, I'd be quite charitable and all this kind of business, but I'd be like the anti-Bill Gates in appearance. Like I would be flaunting that wealth. I would literally spin in a cane as I'm walking around and stuff. I just have a monocle. I need glasses, but I'll just wear the monocle, like just to be.
See, I don't have a problem with doing that. It's just the way he's chosen to do it. If he was wearing an evening jacket, absolutely fine with this. It's more the jacket doesn't go with the shirt and tie that a problem is with.
Yeah, it's an odd choice of shirt. I think we brought this up earlier.
Yeah, he wears the same shirt throughout the film. He wears different jackets, but I noticed he wears the same evening shirt through most of the film.
Because he had on our favourite suit a few scenes ago.
Is it the black and white, like wide stripe one?
Yeah, it's the like really
grey
heavy, bold kind of one. But if I remember rightly, he's wearing this shirt with that.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah, well, a red bow tie, I think.
Yeah, but it is odd. Like I don't really. Why not just wear a normal shirt?
That's my main problem with it. It's the evening shirt with the business suit. It just doesn't.
This is like you're getting
make
hung
sense.
up like at the beginning of The Last Crusade and Indiana Jones minutes, where they seem to be really focused on the fact that when Donovan meets Indiana Jones, he's wearing like a dinner jacket and stuff. I was like, it's clearly in the mid-afternoon. Like they kept talking about it over and over again. It's like you never know. It could be after 6. It could just be the summer. You never know. But they seem to be really hung up of like, why is he wearing this dinner jacket? And then like Chrissy Porter right in, she's like, why is he wearing a dinner jacket at about 12 in the afternoon?
This is Shrek's thing, though, isn't it? Like he's got his own style. Nobody, even in this movie of odd styles, dresses like Max Schreck.
No, that's true.
I do have to ask though, if you're interested in ties and Rory, like this thing, the penguin. This is called like a cabot, isn't it? The little sort of. Little kind of. Because I've seen them around. I've never seen anybody wear them, but me and John have a mutual friend who She still does run a vintage clothes shop, but I think she does it all online now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I remember seeing the Cabot's in there and been like, oh, it's like the Penguin's tie. But I've never felt the urge to buy one, or I've never seen anybody wear one. I think literally DeVito might have been like the last stand of the Cabot, really.
Yeah, it's sort of Victorian. So I think it's a morning thing as well. So you'd wear that with your top hat and tails.
I could see you wearing one, Niall. This is very much something you would just buy on a whim, I think.
See, like, I'd like to think that I'd be cleaner than the Penguin, but everything the Penguin wears is like, I'd wear that. I'd wear a onesie with like a little dickie and a fancy tie and a top hat and a big fur coat. It's like, yeah, that'd be a good look. And then big Doc Marten
I'm wearing
boots.
it now.
Yeah, it's if you took him out of it, and then you weren't this hideous, misshapen lump of a person, and then just had the clothes on somebody else, it'd be a pretty cool style, I would think. It does actually have, even at this point, he's not actually a decadent rich person, but he does have the style of a decadent rich person in that there's a lot of comfort, but a little bit of panache on top of it as well.
Have you talked about the posters as well? I assume you did in the last minute a little bit of cover the mayor posters.
Yes. Unless there's anything you want to say about them in particular that we might not.
Just something I just sort of thought about while looking at it there is that the umbrella that he's holding is like blocking the spotlights. Like it's like absorbing the light, so it's almost like it's blocking the bat signal.
Oh,
that's something we didn't pick up on. We picked up on a few sort of symbols in the picture, but that was one we didn't. Ooh.
I think because that was the interpretation. Well, I think the way they want it to be is that he's shielding shielding the rain, so the sun can shine. But yeah, that's actually a good twist on it as well. That it looks like he's blocking a bat signal. Yeah,
maybe that's the hidden message. You know what I mean? Like to people in the know, like we're going to take care of this bat.
Like him and Max Shrek. And even the Penguin wasn't consulted when they make these posters either. Oh, but yeah. So this time though, we'd usually ask the guests about their history with the movie and Batman in general. And I know, Rory, you're clearly a Batman fan from your appearances on other things. So, do you have a memory of seeing this movie for the first time or anything?
Yeah, not really. I was born in 91, so it's kind of one of those ones that's just kind of always been there. I've watched it 100 times, I'm sure. But probably on TV mostly through my younger years, and then buying it in every format pretty much, I think.
Hey,
so.
We approve.
It's just, I'm a big fan of this and the previous one.
Do you have a favourite? Because personally, this is my favourite, but some really hardcore Batman fans think otherwise.
I've gone back and forth between the two, I think. Probably at the moment it'd be this one.
Yes.
I didn't have time to watch it fully through. It's been a while since I've seen it fully through, but I think I will watch them both back to back now, and then I'll tweet and let you know.
I do think like our favorite, my personal favorite reaction of people, of someone throughout this process is that we had one guest lined up who said he didn't like the movie. It was Phil from The Matrix Minute, and he told us last year, like, I don't like this, and then we kind of got him in the spotlight, and then he was just like, why do you like it? And we kind of explained to him why, and then he was just like, the thing is, I've watched it since, and I actually really love this movie now. It's like, oh my god, it's swaying everybody over.
I've done a few of these movies by minute ones in a couple of the films I haven't liked, but watching them like this almost helps in a way because you spot things that
it does.
Are good about it.
When you go back and watch them again, it's a completely different movie in a great way. Usually, it's never had a negative effect for me so far.
I do wonder if, like, at the end of next year, we're gonna be like, Val Kilmer is the greatest Batman that's ever existed. Where you watch him 1 minute at a time and just have to speculate about what he might be doing in any given scene. He is so in-depthly good in this movie. It's insane.
Wait till you get to Clooney. That's the one I'm excited to hear you cover.
It's going to be interesting. I'm excited for it. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but it's going to be different.
Oh yeah,
you're going to have a lot to talk about anyway.
Yes, there's no shortage of things to discuss.
But of course, though, you're welcome back for Clooney and for Val Kilmer next year, Rory, if you want to come back. And I think I'm noted out for this minute, guys.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Rory, would you like to tell our good listeners where they can find you and your wonderful show online and whatnot?
Yeah, sure. I'm from the Doghair Network, so at the moment is a podcast called Doghair Presents, where I try and teach you something new every week, or me and a guest try and teach you something new every week. Cover a wide range of topics. We have done an episode on Batman a while ago. It's people seem to like that one, so it's a good place to start for your listeners. I also do a YouTube show called Hangover Reviews, where I watch and tell you things to watch and do with a hangover, basically.
Always good. I have one right now.
Yep. I usually do, which is why I started that. Mostly movies. Sometimes weird things, like I've done one on walking or water or coffee.
I thought you meant Chris Walken there for a second. Like, there's a whole episode about Chris Walken.
I've done some Chris Walken, episodes. Well, 7 Psychopaths is the only one I can think of, actually, that I've done of his. But yeah, did a bit of an impression in there. If you want to hear my Chris Walken impression, it's in there.
Perfect.
So yeah, that's it. You can find that at doghairnetwork.com or on Twitter at the Doghair Network, or me at Hangover Reviews on Twitter.
Well, do make sure to check all those out, because it's wonderful, wonderful. Anything that helps you with a hangover is always a good thing, except for the weird Russian thing of drinking gherkin juice, like the vinegar from the jar. That's peculiar.
I've also done a hangover cocktails one, in which I drank a prairie oyster cocktail, which involves a whole egg, unbroken, in a glass with tomato sauce, vodka, Tabasco.
It's like a weirder version of a Bloody Mary, and I thought they were weird enough.
Yeah, I also had one in that video, but if you want to see me almost throw up, that's the video to go watch.
That sells it to me. I'm sure that sells it to everyone listening, to be honest. That sounds perfect. So check it out, and check us out on Facebook at the Bat Minute Listeners Cave, on Twitter at Bat Minute, and we've got an Instagram too. And if you want to be really, really nice, you can review us on iTunes. That would be cool. In fact, Niall, we have some new reviews on iTunes.
Oh.
And I don't read the reviews out because that would be boring for you, but I like to praise the people for, thank them. So, we have a review from Good Guy Dave. I know who that is, so thank you. Thank you, Good Guy Dave, for your 5 stars. And we also have a review from... Did I mention Lawrence the Goon? I don't know if I mentioned Lawrence the Goon.
We've mentioned him in previous episodes, but not as an iTunes review. We've mentioned things that he's mentioned to us.
Okay, and we also have a review from Van Henge.
Ooh.
Who,
where the demons dwell, where the banshees live, and they do live well.
Van Henge. But anyway, yes, thank you for those reviews. Lovely, lovely of you. If you want to send us more messages, we'll reply to you. That's always fun. So tweet us, Facebook, all that jazz, and we will be back on. Which is this now? This is Wednesday, isn't
it? Yes, this is Wednesday.
And we'll be back on Friday for more Bat Minute Returns.
Next time, sinister persuading, a callous capitalist and his concupiscent Connie conspire to kick off a chaotic catalyst. But can their accursed accord finally be confirmed? Find out Friday, same bat pod, different bat minute.